welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. I saw this recipe on TikTok and I was like intrigued. So we're gonna do chicken nuggets, but with ground chicken. And maybe everyone's doing this, but it's not something I've ever done before. I always use like chicken breast and like either make cutlet or I like cut them up and make Nona nugget, but I've never done ground chicken before. And it uses the air fryer. So I was like, all right, well, let's try all that. So I have a pound here of ground chicken. Now you can buy ground chicken breast or ground chicken, which would be both dark meat and light meat, a mix. I bought a mix because you kind of want the fat, but it's the 93% lean, 7% fat. So it's not a ton of dark meat, but that's just FYI. Ground chicken in the bowl. Then we're going to add some salt. The recipe says 4 pinches. 2, 3, 4. So I don't know. I'm calls for less, like a quarter that of pepper. So I'm going to probably do like a half a teaspoon of pepper. But I don't think that this matters too much. Just make sure that there is some seasoning. We're going to do garlic powder. Oops, I don't need that part. So we'll do like a pretty heavy teaspoon of garlic powder. That garlic powder like went up my nose. And then I know I just told you in a recent video that I don't use onion powder, but then I did tell you that if I see it on a recipe of another creator, sometimes I'll use it. So I'm going to use half a teaspoon of onion powder because it's not my favorite flavor. The other creator used these like cornflake panko breadcrumbs, which I don't have. So I'm just going to use some 4C seasoned breadcrumbs, but I am curious about those breadcrumbs. So I might see if I can find them at my local grocery store. And then he breaded them in a bowl, but I'm a big paper plate breader because I like to throw it out when I'm done. You don't have to wear gloves if you don't want to, but you can wear gloves if you want to. So I'm going to blend together our ground chicken, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder until it's completely combined, but don't be too aggressive. Ground chicken is incredibly soft in comparison to like beef or anything else. Now you can form these into like nugget shapes, round shapes, like whatever you want. I don't think that it matters, and he didn't specify in his recipe. So I'm just gonna make them into like random nugget shape and then just give them a little roll here in the breadcrumbs, a little coat in the breadcrumbs. Now panko is like a bigger breadcrumb, so you would get more of a thicker crumb on it if you were using panko. And then it just makes like a little nugget. Set them, the little nugget, gently on the little tray. They're very tender, so be careful. So little clump, I'm gonna kind of sort of make it into a shape. And then I'm gonna use dry hand over here for the breadcrumbs. And I'm just gonna do that until all the chicken is done. And then I'm gonna preheat my air fryer. I'm gonna have to double check. I think it was 390 for like 15 minutes. And if this works, I'm gonna be so thrilled because this is so much easier. Well, that probably took like, I don't know, 10 minutes to prep out. And then I've got, this is the best part, they just go into the air fryer. So I preheated my air fryer 390 and I'm just gonna, it ended up making 15, and we'll see if I can get all 15 into my air fryer. They all fit in. Now you're supposed to spray it with oil, but I don't have any of that. So I'm just gonna use my little squeeze and do like a little drizzle on each one. If you don't put any oil, I mean, you could do that, but you might get a little trouble getting browning with no oil in there. So I would at least do some type of oil. So we're gonna do it at 390 for 11 minutes. Then we're gonna flip and just do like 4 more for a total of 15 minutes. So I don't have to babysit. I'm just gonna set mine 390, 11 minutes. And then when it dings, I'll take it out and I'll put it on again for like 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, we have beeping. Let's check them after 11 minutes. Oh, they're looking very chicken nuggety. Let's flip them over. I just wanted to say that I washed my spatula in between here, which might seem a little bit fanatical. But the reason was that there was a little raw chicken on my spatula and I don't want to contaminate my almost cooked chicken here. So I did wash my spatula in between, and now we're just gonna flip them all over and we're gonna do another like 4 minutes, okay? And they do look a bit dry, so I'm gonna give each one just a little more oil since I don't have the spray. But if you have the spray, just give them another spritz before you start things up again. Our timer went off. I don't know about you guys, but that is looking pretty freaking delicious. I'm excited to taste. It's probably like 9,000 degrees, so I'm a little bit nervous. And because I've never made them before, I'm gonna cut it open just to make sure that it looks completely cooked on the inside, which it does. Oh my God, it looks so much like a chicken nugget, like a they're hot. Like an old-fashioned like McDonald's chicken nugget. It looks so much like that. That is surprisingly delicious. I thought it was going to be low flavor, to be honest. I think just a smidge overcooked. This one's a little bit thinner. I think I maybe would have done like a minute or two less, actually. I'm not like a huge chicken nugget person, but now dip like honey mustard, ketchup, sweet and sour. Oh, I love sweet and sour. They're very satisfyingly crunchy on the outside and tender on the inside. So easy. 10 out of 10 recommend. I'll tag the original creator. Love it. What a great dinner option and a much healthier option. They're not fried. They're great. The macros, he has that broken down on his. And they taste really good.